welcome back. Sean here, Mountains Garage. The last day of January, 2025. It's a gray day, got a little snow coming in tonight, but February begins tomorrow. The days are getting longer. We're statistically past the coldest day of the year. Hey, bring on the melt. We only got a melt of about 6 inches. I still have grass showing in places, so pretty mild winter. It is what it is. For the first time, other than peeking underneath my 47 Ford cab, I'm standing under it. I rolled the frame outside like you saw in the beginning and was going to roll it under the Race 55 in the next bay. Then I realized I want to do some trial fitting before I start cutting, because I'm going to cut the firewall out of this cab and probably most of the floor, which, looking at it, you know, if it's not in the way, I should probably leave it. I'll take the camera and show you around, but yeah, this thing's pretty fantastic. Not perfect, but what is? Let's take a look. To begin with, the firewall is not only ugly, it's broken for some reason. I don't know if the drivers were hard on the throttle, because that's the throttle linkage. Hard telling, but I'm just going to cut it right out for now around the lip. And I have to kind of be scientific about what I want to leave. I find this right here kind of ugly. Gonna need some trimming. That needs work anyway. If we just remove it, that'd be all right. I gotta leave room for my feet. I don't want to cut myself short there. I can't just cut it along that curve, which was my first thought, but we'll see. I will have some type of transmission access, but not this. And regardless of how nice the floors are, I believe they're all going to have to go, because I'm going to put in a roll cage and floor supports, etc. Because as usual, the project got a little out of hand. Just looking around. A few imperfections, but I mean, it's 1947. Really, I'm amazed at how nice it is. Those 4 bolts there hold a piece of wood that flips up and down inside the cab. Haven't really figured that out yet. A few more pieces of wood over here. You know, these were the years they were just getting away with using lots of wood and steel mixed together. But I've seen a lot newer trucks not look this nice. So we might as well lower it down and get a look at what it's going to look like one way or the other. Give her a little eyeball. The beauty of a lightweight chassis is you can move it pretty easy. Too much. All right, let's give that a go. Before just now, I had only tape measured what I envisioned it would look like. It looked exactly like this. I wanted room to have the headboard of the bed fit down in front of the rear frame rails. Cute little bed, about 5 feet long. Slightly more than 4 feet if I want to, but I'll probably go 5. Because again, when given the chance, I'll use it as a truck. I don't know how much bed's going to be left with all the extra fuel cell and whatnot in there, but time will tell. Pretty neat, but I just heard the mail truck come, so now Gotta switch gears and see what they brought me for parts today. Hey, a koozie. So what we have here is, from Low Dollar Motorsports, boing, 200 PSI senders. One for the fuel pressure, one for the oil pressure, for the 496, for the 47 Ford. That's cool. One package in this box was 2 of the Fragola 8A and PTFE crimped lines. I studied the pictures. They said this took a 7/8 wrench. Some take a 13/16. No, some take an inch. I'm hoping, because when I made the fuel log, I probably could have left a little bit more real estate to spread the fittings out, which showed up yesterday. I guess all we can do is go see if they fit. But to finish out this stuff today, I was shopping on eBay. This is a 4500 Dominator air filter bottom, thinking I could cut it. I think I have to find some bigger air filters, but not this big. It was $14, so couldn't resist. At least it gives me something to think about. So let's just try the fuel lines on. I'm hoping they fit, but I got my doubts. Let's go find out. Well, good news, bad news. I had originally bought these 24s for the rear and only 14s for the front. What I didn't take into account is the fact it's crimped and the PTFE is very stiff. So I do have room between them. I've threaded 2 on next to each other. It took forever, so I erased that footage. Because I have things in the way. This stuff is not very flexible. I could get it on there, but I'm not happy with it. What I can do, though, is drill 3 new holes here, and if these right now were coming out of here, that'll work. Too stiff down here, too tight of a corner, so all is not lost. I can drill and tap 3 more holes, rotate that 1/6 of a turn. In the other video, I called it octagon at first. That'd be 8, right? And then I said hexagon, which is correct. Hex is 6, I believe. I don't know. That was like 4th, 5th grade, 6th grade. When did they teach us that? I don't remember. So I have, these are the fittings I got the other day. I have decided -10 to feed it would be a better deal. So coming out of the regulated -10, so I got this coming in -10. More of a feel-good thing, but we'll have maximum fuel to here, and the rest can feed its way in through -8. So that is what it is. We can make it work. And I guess to finish my thought, I figured this out yesterday when I mounted everything up, got my fittings for real, realized that I took a piece of hose, 14-inch was not going to get me to there. But it will work on the crossover on the twin turbo DAP motor, so that'll work. They'll be excellent for other uses. And I bought some 30s, so now the 24s are going to go to the front and the 30s are going to go to the back. Probably now when I cock that forward, they're both just going to loop right here. I was going to run them under the manifold, but I started plugging in wiring under there, and we don't want to make it too confusing, so especially when you want to remove the manifold. If the fuel lines are outboard, and they're kind of pretty, they'll be fine. So that's the plan there. Let's go back to dreaming on the truck. It's funny I denied myself this day of joy for so long, because this is really fun. Don't mind, this will not be the hood line, so I want to make a top hood. The hood sits up here, so we'll be going downhill slightly, because I can move that a little bit. So you want the hood to have a little downward rake. Straight out looks too much like a old Freightliner. So you want a little swoop, but this will be nice to make 2 half hoods. It won't even be difficult, really. A little bit of rolling, have them stop right here at this seam. Hides a lot of ugly under here, so that kind of changed my thinking about how much I have to modify out here if I can hide some of it with the hood, take the hinges off. Again, improve the firewall. You can set the engine back a little bit. I have ample room to work here, I think. I can't wait to cut these ugly motor mounts off. My luck, I'll have to build something just like them, but I didn't mention I'm going to mount the body at the rocker panel off the frame with brackets with a bolt through it, so 4 3/8 bolts will hold the cab to the frame. Initially anyway, there'll be all kinds of other things holding it as well, but to facilitate lifting it off and on, just like the Race 55, that body's removable as well, in pretty much the same fashion. So my next idea, if we're just having a fun day of trying on stuff, up over your head is a couple of Model A fenders. I want to see what they would look like stuck on here. I have Model A running boards too. If they went right back into my rear bed fenders, if I could have full fenders, that'd be sweet, because I'm building the Model A open wheel. I love fenders and a roof. I'm building the Model A Roadster pickup, which means no roof. I'm a roof guy, I guess. I don't like the sun that much. Rode a lot of miles on a motorcycle, and the Model A was going to replace my motorcycle someday. So let's go drag down a fender and see what that mess would look like. I had another thought and had to go out and measure, but taking this rough dimension here and the width here, the stock hood, potentially, with a little bit of massaging, I could just put it back on the hinges, make a way to latch it. How cool would that be? And that's a lot less work. Again, if you can hammer, dolly it into shape and make it look not too bad. This is fun. So another idea to keep the wheels turning, but the stock hood comes down a little ways more, maybe 6 inches, which again hides a lot more ugly, because this firewall is the only part of this cab that's really ugly. The rest kind of good looking, but especially now that it's chopped. I've mentioned it, some old guy here in town, the town I live in, chopped this. He's, back in the day, was quite the body man apparently. He's up there in age now, but still building hot rods. Right now, if I went to his house, he'd be sitting there in a chair staring at his hot rod. So something we can all aspire to, I guess. All right, let's drag down a fender. All right, I think we're onto something. Multi-generational Ford truck, everything fits. You're only limited by your imagination. Back in this era, almost anything went. I believe the 1930 Model AA Ford truck fenders, the big truck AA. A 36 Ford truck grill, according to the junkyard writing on there. 46 or 7 Ford cab. 47, I believe. I looked at the ID plate that I have. We're just going to make something out of it. I'm excited to have the running boards go right back into my rear bed fenders, which will also be Model A that I have. I have a couple sets of those. If it's ugly, it's ugly. If it's not, if beautiful, it's beautiful. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? So, something to think about, work on, get the old creative juices flowing. It's been a fun couple hours. Only 10 minutes for you, but a couple hours for me. I'm completely covered in dust, dragging down fenders and such. The beauty of a Model A fender, they're round and shapely, but they don't hardly weigh anything. So that's it this Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll check in with you in a few days. Take her easy.